Hi, welcome. I'm really happy you're here. I'm Kelsey, and we will dive right into this 15-minute balance practice. We'll start in a seated position and just start by arriving in our space. Maybe close your eyes for a few moments. Take some deep breaths. We can start with inner balance before we move on to the physical balance practice. Roll the shoulders down and back, creating some space in the front body and the chest. And drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And while you're here, turn your nose towards the sky. Come back to center, drop left ear to left shoulder. And staying here, but turn your nose to the sky. And come back to center, gently open the eyes. Hello, welcome to the space. On your next inhale, raise your hands to the sky. Exhale, drop them to your sides. Inhale again, arms up. Exhale, left arm to the ground, right arm overhead. Roll your right shoulder down and back. Gaze up at the ceiling, opening up your chest. Inhale, come up. Exhale, drop right hand to the mat. Left arm stretches up and overhead. Nose to the ceiling. Inhale, come up. Stretch out both legs. Bring your right foot planted to the left of your left knee. And then left elbow to right knee to twist behind. And looking over your right shoulder. And stretch out the right leg. Now cross your left foot over to the right side of your right knee. So your left knee is in the air, right elbow to left knee, and twist, looking over your left shoulder this time. And then come back to center and come onto all fours. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. And take a couple cat-cows here. So inhale, drop the pelvis, gazing up. And exhale, press into the mat with your hands, lift the back up towards the ceiling. And gaze between your legs behind you. Inhale for cow, gazing upward, dropping your belly. And exhale for cat. Now find neutral, and on your next inhale, raise your left foot behind you and your right hand forward. So opposite arm and leg, and just find balance. And take 2 breaths here, really focusing on finding steadiness through your core and grounding through your entire palm and your leg, your foot that's touching the mat. And release, taking 1 round of cat-cows. And find neutral, and we'll go to the other side. So lift your left hand out in front of you, right toes pointed out behind you. And taking a few breaths. Again, being active, pushing the mat away with your right hand. And come back down, finding all neutral. Crawl your hands forward, keeping your hips above your knees, and bring your chest to the ground, your chin to the ground. then pull your hands back just a little bit, tuck your toes, and push back into a gentle downward dog. And when I say gentle, I mean your legs can be bent, your knees can be bent. And then raise your right heel to the sky. Notice if your hips are opening. You want your both hip bones to be facing the ground so your hips are squared off. Just your right foot in the sky behind you. You might notice some shakes. Totally normal. See if you can distribute your weight here between all 3 points of contact. And drop the foot to the ground. And extend into a high plank, lowering your knees to the ground, untucking your toes, and slowly bringing your body down to the ground. Palms plant by your rib cage, push up into a cobra. And then tuck your toes, press down and back into a downward dog. And we'll find three-legged dog on the other side. Raise left heel to the sky, keeping your hips squared. Finding strength through all 3 points of contact, your hands and your foot. Using the fingers, your finger pads. Take one more breath and release. Now walk or jump towards your hands. Find halfway lift, hands to shin. Top of your head shines forward. Exhale, hang back down for a forward fold. And inhale, slowly round your back and stand up. Your head comes up last. And we'll just find a mountain pose here. Finding balance, standing on both feet. You can play with where your feet are touching the ground. Spread out your toes for a wider base. Take a breath here. Recalling that inner balance that we started the practice with. Now shift your weight from the left foot to the right foot and back and forth, starting to notice the difference in the sensation in your feet and in your whole leg when you move your weight from one side to the other. And next time you are balancing on your right foot, and stay there. And see if your left foot can hover off the ground just an inch. If you have any bit of unsteadiness, maybe find a chair or a wall, just for safety. See if you can bring your left knee to your chest, or toward it at least. It can be helpful to find a focal point, drishti, somewhere in front of you, something that's unmoving. You can rest your gaze there. And release the left foot down. You shake out the right leg and the left. And then find that sway again, gently shifting your weight from left to right. Settle on the left foot. And hover your right foot just an inch off the ground. Remember to distribute your weight on your left foot. Maybe spread your toes. If you start to fall like this and your body is kind of making a moon shape or crescent, then bring your right foot down and just reset. We want your entire body to be stacked. Shoulders on top of hips, on top of feet or ankles. Let's bring right knee into the chest. And totally okay to grab onto something, just like this. You can have your hand on the chair or the wall. And bring it back down. Bring your big toes to touch, and we'll find chair pose. So big toes touching, bend the knees as if you're sitting back into a chair, which I conveniently have here. And palms come together at heart center. And twist to the right. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Your gaze can follow the line of your right elbow up to the corner of the room. Finding steadiness, finding a new focal point to help steady you. And slowly come back up all the way. Deep breath. And we'll find that on the other side. So big toes still touching. Come back down into chair pose. Palms close together at your heart. And then right elbow to left knee. And come back to center, arms above head. And palms to heart center. And drop them to your side. Replace your feet hip widths apart. Back into mountain pose. Take a breath. Now we'll find tree pose. So the bottom of your right foot comes to the inside of your left leg. Can be anywhere except for on your knee. So we don't want to be pushing our knee to the outside. It can just be a little kickstand here. So you can keep your big toes of your right foot on the mat and just rest your heel on the inside of your left ankle. Or it can come onto your calf, or it can come all the way up into the thigh. Now, what you really want, again, this is not the goal. The goal is not to be up here. The goal is to be stacked and balanced. So if I'm here, but I'm off like this is not balance. So I'm gonna go on my calf today. And I'm gonna make sure that my heel is directly under my hip, is directly under my left shoulder. And my hips are not dipping out to the side, they're stacked. Arms can come above your head, or they can rest at your side, just like in mountain pose. It's really active in your left foot on the mat. And release that down. Maybe shake out the left leg. And we'll go to the other side. So tree pose with the left foot as the branch. Again, you can kickstand, so keep your left toes on the mat, left heel to your right ankle, or your left foot can come on the inside of your right leg, anywhere but the knee. And again, be mindful, do a little check-in with yourself if your hip is popping out to the right side. Try to stack it so that your hips are, again, in that one plane, one line. And just find balance. Or try. Allow balance to find you. Arms can come above the head or hang at your side. The real challenge is if you're finding this too easy, try closing your eyes. You really have to call on that inner balance when you do that. And release back down. We'll do one more fun little thing here. We'll come back into mountain pose. So feet hip width apart, palms out by our side. We'll come up on our toes and back down. And up on our toes and back down. And one more, this time a bit longer. Up on our toes. And back down. That's it. You did it. Thank you for joining me in this short balance practice. I hope that you also found some inner balance as well. Thanks. I'll see you next time.